Sophie, we've already seen a lot of movement on the currency markets to begin with. The euro slid to its lowest level that we've seen so far this year. Ever since last September, when Mario Draghi, head of the European Central Bank, said that he would do whatever it would take to save the euro, we've seen it gradually improve, gradually regain ground, and yet today it's all been reversed. It slid to a 3-month low against the dollar. It slid against the yen, which incidentally is not great news for Japanese exporters, and is an unsurprising yet slightly worrying trend, because in times of uncertainty, in times of concern, investors move to so-called safe haven investments, and the yen is often considered to be a safe haven. Interesting, if we look at bond yields, which is another good litmus test as to how economies are doing, we've seen that the bond yields of countries like Germany, of the US, have gone down, people buying up those bonds. The bond yields of those peripheral Eurozone debt-laden countries like Spain and Italy, their bond yields have spiked sharply this morning, which is again a worrying sign that as investors are concerned that this is the start of a new trend. If we look briefly at European equity markets, if we can bring those to you, they are down across the board. The FTSE down, the FTSE MIB in Italy, they're down as well, 2%. Some quite drastic drops across the board. Again, not surprising, but a worrying sign that investors are concerned about this. And as Chris Morris was just saying there, concerned that despite all the reassurances from Brussels that perhaps this isn't a one-off bailout package.
So market's not looking great, and on that point, I mean, is there a sense that this could set a precedent, and other people in other countries who might find themselves in a similar position are going to have to deal with the same kind of thing?
Well, that is precisely what these bond yields spiking in places like Spain and Italy suggest, that investors there are concerned that in these other peripheral debt-laden Eurozone economies, the ones most at risk, we might see similar packages being installed there, and that the banks there might be worried. And what is a slight cause for concern is that in countries like Spain, there are a lot of non-Spanish but Eurozone citizens with property in that country, and therefore money in the banks. And those banks are already highly leveraged. It's a country recovering from a property bust. And because banks by their nature are highly leveraged, it doesn't take much to actually cause a run on the banks. However, in all that, it has to be stressed that Brussels has been very clear to say that this is a very specific bailout package designed for a very specific economy with a rather bloated banking sector, and also a banking sector with a lot of non-EU money in it, i.e. Russian money. Hence the reason they've devised this very specific bailout package for them, which they do not say is the start of a precedent.
Alice, thank you very much. See you a bit later.
See you later.
It's come to 10:20.